your seats. And coming up next, before us, as these children leave, dear guests, you know that this whole conference is about bringing a change in the mindsets, in the thoughts, the ideas that rule the world. And with this particular thought in mind, the children from Rajajipuram campus of City Montessori School are here to present before you a model United Nations as they aspire to be diplomats, bureaucrats, people who will make a difference to the future of the world. They are learning here in the schools the various techniques, the art of interacting, of being together, collaborating and coming together to create a better world. Without further ado, let us move on to the center stage and witness this wonderful model United Nations being presented by the City Montessori School, Rajajipuram Campus 1, and I invite their representative to please come and enlighten us as to what discussions shall take place this morning in this session of the Model United Nations. Let's put our hands together. Let's warm hospitality should be extended to everyone who comes into this hall. Thank you.
In an era where borders blur in the face of climate crisis, digital revolution, and rising inequality, governance must transcend tradition. Today, we stand at crossroads. One path leads to greater divides and other to an equitable world. The choice is yours, which is being presented by the students of City Montessori School, Rajajipuram Campus 1. Watch closely, because this model United Nations is a call for action. So please, put your hands together for these brilliant young minds who are about to set the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed delegates, I stand before you today with great honor as the Secretary General of this Model United Nations. Our agenda is ambitious, we gather to address the pressing global challenges of our time. From the call of a digital compact to guide our digital future, to reshaping global governance for a more equitable world. Having said that, I would like to welcome you all to the 25th International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World for the year 2024. With the powers vested in me as the Secretary General of this Model United Nations, I, Anuna Narayan Trivedi, declare this conference open. Now I would like to request my co-chair, Ms. Ishika Singh, to lay the modalities for this conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed delegates, now as the forum is already established and the roll call has already been taken, let us begin with the proceedings of the day.
With the discretion of the chair, the GSL is established. Delegates who wish to speak in this GSL may raise their placards. Delegate of the Netherlands, followed by the President of Brazil, Delegate of Estonia, Delegate of India, and representative of Minority Rights Group International. Delegate of the Netherlands, you may have the floor.
Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. For the Netherlands, this is not just a belief, but a commitment, a responsibility. Justice is the foundation on which we stand. One, we have built through strong institutions dedicated to the rule of law, equal access to justice, and the relentless fight against organized crime. And yet, we face the brunt of it. On July 17, 2014, the world shattered for the Netherlands when Flight MH17 was shot down, killing 298 innocent people. How many more innocent lives must we lose before the world realizes that justice is the only real path to peace?
We are honored to have with us the President of Brazil. I would like to invite Her Excellency for her presidential statement. Obrigado, Presidents, Excellentos, Presidents, and respective delegates. A mudança climática é uma questão urgente, significamento o Brasil. O diversos ecossistemas peces estão cada vez ricos costerias do nível do mundo. Comunidades vulneráveis, especialmente públicos, indígenas moradores, urbanas de baixa renda, suportam enfrentado e descamento e desafios de saúde. COP27, 28 e 29 embreviam com a mesma retórica, mas sem equios concretas. Isso sem cansativo. O Brasil exerce responsabilidade. Obrigado.
Delegate of Estonia, you may have the floor.
Greetings, everyone. I come from Estonia, world's most advanced digital society. 99% of our public services are online. We pay taxes, access healthcare, get justice, and even vote, all from our screens. In fact, Estonia has saved over 2 million hours annually by using our e-government services. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Delegate of Chad, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Estonia has achieved digital compact, while other countries are still in process of achieving it. A huge appreciation for that, Estonia. But delegate, as we are aware, that Estonia suffered a major cyber attack in 2007. How does Estonia ensure that similar incident is not repeated?
Thank you, sir, for your concern. May I request the chair to forward these documents to the delegate of Chad for reviewing the measures we took.
Thank you, delegates. Delegate of India, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Namaste, esteemed delegates. The Security Council, as it stands, was built in a world with very different power structures. But does it still represent the world's realities? The Global South constitutes about 85% of the world's population and 40% of the global economy, and yet its voice is limited in the decisions that shape the entire world.
Excuse me, Honorable Delegate from India. No. I'm sorry, but the United Nations Security Council cannot just go on granting veto powers solely on the basis of population size. It must be on the basis of commitment to the principles that unify us all. Before we speak about justice and representation, should we not look at our own stark realities? India's domestic policies, whether it's the freedom of expression or the alleged caste-based discrimination, paints a yet another complex picture for you in front of this entire committee.
The Minister of External Affairs would like to answer this question himself.
Respected Chair, it is both ironic and revealing that the delegate of Canada chooses to comment on India's internal matters. A country that has yet to serve justice to thousands of missing indigenous women and has its own history of systemic injustice. India neither seeks validation nor endorsement from them.
An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Consider this. The country who has always maintained a neutral stance in the face of every situation, in the face of every conflict, is asking for decision-making rights at the global mantle of security for 85% of the world. Sir, aren't you aware that leadership requires decisive actions, not neutrality dressed as a principle?
Dear delegate, the sarcasm is well noted, but the hypocrisy still remains. Our policy of not taking sides has been there since the day of our independence. We have always been neutral, but neutral does not mean quiet. Let the forum be reminded of our role in the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971, when the world needed us most. We stepped in. Together with our African allies, we call for unity. I would like to quote from the Upanishads. Ayam nija paroveti gadana lagu chetsam udar charita namatu vasudhaiva kutumbakam, which means this is mine, that is yours. This is narrow-mindedness. For the true open-hearted people know that the entire universe is but one family. Thank you.
Representative of Minority Rights Group International, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. April 1992, Bosnia, 200,000 minorities. September 2004, genocide in Darfur, 400,000 minorities. To sum up, esteemed delegates, we have lost over 1.4 million people. Oh, I stand corrected. 1.4 million minorities. This is not about Republicans, delegates. It's not about Democrats, and of course, it's never, believe me, never about the rights of indigenous people. Genocide Convention, 1948. Treaty of Lausanne, 1923. We make promises, and then we break them. I asked the head of state, seated over here, where is the commitment we promised for? Esteemed delegates, let's pledge that every single day we renew our commitment to never forget, never forgive, and say united in one strong global voice, never again.
Delegate of France would like to propose the draft resolution. Due to paucity of time, I would request you to present 3 main points to the Assembly.
Thank you, Chair. France not only supports India and its African allies'
claims for fair representation in the Council, but we also take a step forward for a better tomorrow by ensuring climate action, digital equity, and strengthening international organizations. And thus, we propose a draft resolution highlighting 3 key points. Recalling Article 1 of the United Nations Charter that outlines the purpose of United Nations to promote peace. Acknowledging the existential threat posed by climate change and suppression of youth. And lastly, emphasizing the calls for reforms in the UNSC as outlined in Chapter 5. Thank you.
Delegates, we will now vote on the draft resolution proposed by the delegate of France. Delegates for this draft resolution? Delegates against this draft resolution? With 28 yeses and 6 noes, this draft resolution passes. Distinguished delegates, the world needs change makers, and you are that hope. Don't let this just be an exercise. Let this be a commitment. We stand together for the implementation of this draft resolution. With the powers vested in me as the Secretary General of this model United Nations, I, Anuna Narayan Trivedi, declare this conference closed.
Let's put our hands together for this wonderful message that has been put forth by the students of City Montessori School, Rajajipuram Campus 1. Thank you so much. May I now invite our respected manager and conference convener this year, Professor Geeta Gandhi, to introduce us to the Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Honorable Shri Yogi Adityanath Ji.
Namaskar and a very good morning to all guests. It is my great honor and pleasure this morning to very warmly welcome Yogi Adityanath Ji, the Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, which is India's largest state. Yogi Adityanath Ji, thank you so much. I think Honorable Sir deserves a very, very good round of applause. All the students of CMS. Thank you so much. Yogi Adityanath's political journey started at university, where he did a MSc in mathematics, where he also started working as an active member of the National Students' Organization, the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. Yogi Adityanath embraced renunciation or sannyas in his early 20s, relinquishing worldly attachments to lead the life of a monk. Based on his services to the people of Gorakhpur district of Uttar Pradesh, he was elected as Member of Parliament at the early age of 28 and was re-elected from that constituency for 5 consecutive terms. In 2017, he assumed the position of Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and has become its longest-serving Chief Minister. As an ascetic politician who believes in corruption-free, efficient and accountable government, Yogi Adityanath forges a deep connection with the people. He is ambitious about and deeply committed to the rapid progress of the state of Uttar Pradesh. The period of his chief ministership has been linked with greater ease of doing business, higher public commitments to health, education and infrastructure, and greatly enhanced inward investment. It is a great honor for this conference to welcome a visionary leader like Yogi Adityanath as the chief guest at this 25th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World. With your permission, sir, I would like to introduce the objectives of the conference. Friends, Humanity is at a crossroads. It faces grievous problems: existential climate change, insecurity and conflict, the specter of global pandemics, and powerful technological breakthroughs and developments that are happening at breakneck speed, but which are largely not governed yet by proper law or adequate ethical frameworks. International institutions struggle to contain these problems. While the United Nations has done much in the field of humanitarian assistance and social development, it has been unable to maintain peace and security, as seen by the illegal major wars that are ongoing. In the field of climate change, personages no less than the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and former President of Ireland, Mary Robinson, have last week written a letter to the United Nations saying that the slow-moving COP process cannot deliver change at the speed and scale that is essential, that is needed in order to ensure a habitable global environment. Our existing global governance architecture is far short of what is needed to address the current problems and for building a bright future for humanity. Even the United Nations' own Pact for the Future recognizes that, and I quote, "Today, our multilateral system, constructed in the aftermath of the Second World War 80 years ago, is under unprecedented strain," unquote. But we have to have hope for our children. Children are the common present concern and the future hope of all peoples and nations. It is our intergenerational responsibility to bequeath to them a brighter and a safer future. Where does India come in? What does India have to offer, and why is an institution in India hosting this conference? The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had said, quote, and this is something that the Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana, Honorable Mr. Justice Karl Ashok Singh, mentioned 2 days ago in Delhi in his address. Mahatma Gandhi said, quote, "A day will come when the world will approach India in its quest for peace, and India will become the light of the world," unquote. As my father said in his talk at this conference in November 2022, India has two important things to give the world when it comes to talking about governance. First, the concept of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam from the ancient Indian holy scriptures. This means that the whole earth is one family, meaning thereby that all who dwell on earth are our brothers and sisters. When India chaired the G20 meetings, the motto chosen was "One Earth, One Family, One Future." This motto is drawn straight from the Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam precept. If the world could draw inspiration from this rather spiritual approach to relations of nations with one another, it would be likely to lead to a more multilateralism and more collaboration. The second thing that India has to offer the world is the very unique provision in its constitution about how the Indian state shall conduct its international relations with other nations. It doesn't say that the state may or the state might. It says the state shall. It's a promise in our constitution that the state shall conduct its international relations in the following way. Article 51 promises that, quote, "The state shall endeavor to promote international peace and security, maintain just and honorable relations between nations, foster respect for international law, and encouragement the settlement of international disputes through arbitration." Such endeavors are indeed the guiding lights for the conduct of nations, if only they would subscribe to these values. Peoples and nations long for peace, and there is growing awareness that in order to reach peace, we need effective global governance. For building an effective global governance architecture that has relevance, legitimacy, and the trust of nations, it is essential to review the United Nations Charter, its constitution, which was made 80 years ago and which has not changed despite the fact that the world has changed unrecognizably in 80 years. There is a momentum building up for a review of the United Nations Charter, despite the reluctance of some historically privileged nations who may want to preserve the status quo. The Pact for the Future agreed that the UN Week last September, 2 months ago, at the United Nations in New York, in its section 5 on governance, it says that, quote, "We must renew trust in global institutions by making them more representative and more responsive to today's world," unquote. This conference will hear about some proposals, some very specific proposals for the review of the UN Charter, which include suggestions about the representation of the different nations, something that our students here alluded to as well. Participating judges may want to study these proposals further and may consider discussing and disseminating some of the ideas about the UN Charter review back in your respective countries. The annual Conference of Chief Justices was conceived 25 years ago by my revered father, the founder convener of this conference, late Dr. Jagdish Gandhi. My father noted the severe problems of wars and insecurity that exist in our world. He was 11 years old, he was 5 years old when the World War II started, and he was 11 years old when it finished. He also witnessed the India-China War of 1962 and the subsequent war between East and West Pakistan in 1971, and of course so many global conflicts subsequently. He felt a world government could effectively solve such problems of war and insecurity. He appealed to the then United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Kofi Annan, to work towards the establishment of a world order. And Mr. Kofi Annan replied that we at the UN can do nothing alone. Our strength is the strength of our member nations when they agree to act together. So, it is up to the people of the United Nations to convince your leaders to come to the Millennium Summit thoroughly resolved to work together to create a better world for the children. So, my father wrote to the political leaders of the world, asking them to unite and to work towards the formation of a world government. When they did not reply either, all the governments, about 200 heads of states and political leaders my father wrote to, only 3 countries replied. He then turned to the judiciary, feeling that the judiciary was the last hope for humanity's survival. Effectively, friends, in this conference, he created a forum for dialogue among the senior judiciary of the world about topics such as the rule of law in international relations, the strengthening of the United Nations Organization for a stronger global governance, and the empowerment of the International Court of Justice. And I'm very happy to say that as soon as I've mentioned the International Court of Justice, the Honorable Judge from the International Court of Justice, Justice Dalveer Bhandari, has happened to just walk in as I was mentioning. So I think that his arrival here deserves a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. It's a great honor to have you here. CMS, as the world's largest school, has become, if you like, a self-appointed representative of the world's 2.5 billion children and seeks to represent their interests. Children should not be passive recipients of what adults are giving them alone. They should not be passive bystanders, but rather be proactively engaged in discussing the affairs of the age. Indeed, youth are central to problem solving. After all, they have the longest to live, and the decisions taken by today's leaders will affect them the most. I would like to end by again expressing profound gratitude for the presence here of Hon'ble Yogi Adityanath Ji, our popular Chief Minister of the great state of Uttar Pradesh, and I would like to welcome all eminent guests to Lucknow as part to the Lucknow part of the 25th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World. In particular, I'd like to welcome Ms. Catalina Novak, former President, Her Excellency, the former President of Hungary. She stepped down from being the President of Hungary in February this year. His Excellency Lawrence R.A. Rodney Williams, the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. He is the serving head of state, and it's the greatest honor to have him here. I'd also like to welcome His Excellency Mr. Pakalitha V. Moseli, currently MP, but previously twice the Prime Minister of his country, the Kingdom of Lesotho. I'd like to welcome His Excellency Mr. Jean-Henri Sion, former Prime Minister of Haiti. And the many other eminent Chief Justices from 16 countries, Deputy Chief Justices from 5 countries, and many of the Supreme Court judges, High Court judges that have come from 56 countries. It is our greatest honor of our students, our staff, and myself to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And no program, no organization, no creation of a thought is incomplete where we do not remember that great visionary leader who began this movement 25 years ago and who was at the helm of creating such a school that looked out for the whole world. So presenting before you a heartfelt tribute to our visionary leader, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi. We really miss you, sir. This tribute is being presented by the students of City Montessori School, Rajajipuram campus, students and teachers.
In certain periods in history emerges an extraordinary figure whose wisdom transcends all ages and enlightens a spiritual vision, embodying a profound understanding of the interconnectedness between mind, body, and soul, guiding students on a transformative journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. The narrative unfolds in Aligarh, where a young lad embarked on a journey dedicated to a life of service. Leading an army of Samaj Seva Dal, he set out to kindle a flame of transformation in the city. Young Jagdish Prasad emerged as a dynamic and inspirational youth leader.
সবাই থাকে মুখ ফিরায়ে
institution was ignited with a fervent passion for justice and liberty. Mahatma Gandhi's teachings resonated deeply with him, emphasizing the intertwining of spiritual liberation with all human activities. Lucknow became his serendipitous destination with just a flip of a coin. Stepping into the city of Nawabs, our beloved founder ventured closer to his dream, the University of Lucknow. This place heralded the commencement of an epic saga, where our revered leader forged a path that continues to inspire each one. Our most revered Jagdish Gandhi sir discovered his kindred spirit in the most respected Bharti Gandhi man, embodying the sentiment echoed by the late President V.V. The world marries India. Thus emerged a historic milestone, a movement of Jai Jagat.
माना के मुश्किल है सफर पर सुनो मुसाफिर ओ कहीं अगर तू रुका तो मंजिल आएगी ना फिर कदम कदम मिला है जा गगन गगन झुका है जा रख हौसला कर फैसला तुझे वक्त बदलना है
Visionary leader realized that wars begin in the minds of men, and it is in the minds of men where the defenses of peace must be constructed. This led to the inspiration for International Judges Conference. Sir's profound convictions and beliefs found eloquent expressions through innovative concepts, such as the all-religion prayer, the world unity prayer, and interfaith dialogue. Sir's ceaseless endeavors were instrumental in transforming a school that began with just 5 students into an institution that earned global acclaim, securing a coveted place in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest school in a single city. The extensive array of awards and honors bestowed upon him remain unparalleled.
कांधे पे सूरज टिका के चला तू, हाथों में भर के चला बिजलियां। कांधे पे सूरज टिका के चला तू, हाथों में भर के चला बिजलियां। तूफान भी सोचे जिद तेरी कैसी, ऐसा जुनून है किसी ने कहा। बहता चला तू, उड़ता चला तू, जैसे उड़े बेधड़क आंधियां।
though we might not feel the physical presence of our beloved founder, his spiritual presence permeates every nook and corner of the school. In our corridors, in prayer halls, in our playgrounds, in our classrooms, and even in this hall. His smile, his vision, and his words resonate all around and continue to inspire, enlighten, and elevate us. His work has not stopped and is continuing with unfailing zeal towards creating a world safe for children and creating students who are proactive agents of social transformation by giving them an education that is capable of saving humanity. Sir's legacy still lingers in our hearts, our souls, our spirit, and in fact, our whole existence.
हम साथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हाथ में हाथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हम साथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हाथ में हाथ चले तो जीतेंगे, जीतेंगे सारे दावे सारे वादे जीतेंगे, जीतेंगे दिल के ये मजबूत इरादे जीतेंगे, जीतेंगे हर मंजिल को हर मुश्किल को जीतेंगे, जीतेंगे सबकी नजरें सबके दिल को जीतेंगे, साथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हाथ में हाथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हम साथ चले तो जीतेंगे, हाथ में हाथ चले तो जीतेंगे, जीतेंगे, वादा है जीतेंगे, वादा है जीतेंगे, वादा है जीतेंगे, हर मतलब को दिक्कत को तोड़ेंगे, अपनों से अपनों को जोड़ेंगे, हर मतलब को दिक्कत को तोड़ेंगे, अपनों से अपनों को जोड़ेंगे।
I request our Honorable Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath Ji, to join us on stage to offer a floral tribute to our revered Mr. Gandhi. Geeta ma'am, we'll be grateful if you could accompany sir to the stage. Dear audience, if this touched your heart, we would appreciate if you could switch your backlights of the phones on and sway with them. We request you to switch off your backlights of the mobile phones and flash them. Audience, we request you to flash the backlights of your mobiles.
सचमुच उसके अक्स से उसके कद का अंदाजा कैसे पाते हम, वो आसमान था सर झुकाए खड़ा था। A very warm tribute to our respected sir from all of us. I can see the students also joining in remembering this great visionary leader. Without further ado, I request our honorable chief guest for the day, Honorable Yogi Adityanath Ji, the Chief Minister of the Government of Uttar Pradesh, to please come and address the students. Let's put our hands together and welcome sir onto the stage.
विश्व के 25वें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुख्य न्यायाधीशों और न्यायाधीशों के सम्मेलन के आज के इस उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम में समारोह में उपस्थित हिज एक्सीलेंसी मिस कैटलिन नोवाक, एक्स प्रेसिडेंट हंगरी, हिज एक्सीलेंसी मिस्टर पाक्यूथा मोसेसिली, एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर Lesotho, His Excellency Mr. John Henry Saint, ex-PM, Haiti Republic, International Court of Justice, के माननीय न्यायमूर्ति श्री दलवीर भंडारी जी, CMS के संस्थापक निदेशक डॉक्टर भारती गांधी जी, प्रबंधक CMS प्रोफेसर गीता गांधी किंगटन, अध्यक्ष CMS लखनऊ मिस्टर रोजर किंगटन और 25वें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन के आज के इस उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित दुनिया के 56 से अधिक देशों से आए हुए माननीय न्यायमूर्तिगण और इस क्षेत्र के सभी विशेषज्ञगण, उपस्थित बहनों और भाइयों, भारत के सबसे बड़ी आबादी के राज्य उत्तर प्रदेश के इस 25वें सम्मेलन के उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम के अवसर पर मैं आप सभी का उत्तर प्रदेश शासन और उत्तर प्रदेश की नागरिकों की ओर से हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। यह सम्मेलन ऐसे समय में आयोजित हो रहा है जब भारत का संविधान अंगीकार होने के अपने अमृत महोत्सव के वर्ष में प्रवेश कर रहा है। 26 नवंबर 1949 को भारत ने अपना संविधान अंगीकार किया था और 26 नवंबर 2024 भारत के लिए वह दिन होगा जब भारत का संविधान अंगीकार होने का अमृत काल प्रारंभ होगा। इस अवसर पर भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद यानी आर्टिकल 51 पर आधारित विश्व के माननीय न्यायाधीशों और मुख्य न्यायाधीशों का यह सम्मेलन अत्यंत ही प्रेरणादायी, आर्टिकल 51 की भावनाओं के अनुरूप विश्व शांति, सुरक्षा और सौहार्द की स्थापना के दृष्टि से अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण साबित होगा। इस दृष्टि से इस पूरे आयोजन में उपस्थित आप सभी प्रतिनिधियों का मैं उत्तर प्रदेश की राजधानी लखनऊ में हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं, आप सबका अभिनंदन करता हूं। इस सम्मेलन में आप सभी माननीय अतिथियों को, बहुत सारे अतिथि ऐसे होंगे जिनको कई बार इस सम्मेलन में आने का अवसर प्राप्त होगा और एक कमी जरूर आपको नजर आ रही होगी कि सीएमएस के संस्थापक और आज से 25 वर्ष पहले जिनके नेतृत्व में और जिनके मार्गदर्शन में यह सम्मेलन लखनऊ में प्रारंभ हुआ था, आज वे भौतिक दृष्टि हमारे बीच में नहीं है। श्री जगदीश गांधी जी, जिनका भी कुछ देर पहले यहां पर इस सभागार में स्मरण किया गया, मैं इस अवसर पर उन्हें भी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं और सिटी मॉन्टेसरी स्कूल की संस्थापक निदेशिका डॉक्टर भारती गांधी और इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन की संयोजिका और संस्था की प्रबंधक प्रोफेसर गीता गांधी किंगटन जी को इस सम्मेलन के लिए किसी जगदीश गांधी जी ने जो एक शुरुआत की थी आज से 25 वर्ष पहले, उसको उन्होंने अनवरत रूप से आगे बनाए रखा है। इसके लिए मैं उन्हें हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। हम सब जानते हैं, अभी हाल ही में प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने संयुक्त राष्ट्र के समिट ऑफ द फ्यूचर को संबोधित करते हुए दुनिया के राष्ट्राध्यक्षों का एक आह्वान किया। उन्होंने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बातें वहां पर कही कि मानवता की सफलता युद्ध में नहीं बल्कि सामूहिक शक्ति में निहित है। भारत मानता है कि युद्ध से किसी समस्या का समाधान नहीं निकलता है। समस्या का समाधान भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 की भावनाओं के अनुरूप आपसी बातचीत से ही निकाला जा सकता है। इसमें कोई संदेह नहीं कि आज युद्ध एवं आतंकवाद का दंश झेल रहे विश्व के 2.5 अरब बच्चे और आने वाली पीढ़ी को सुरक्षित करने की आवश्यकता है। हमारी नैतिक जिम्मेदारी है कि हम उनके लिए विरासत में एक सुरक्षित समाज छोड़ जाएं। ऐसे में दुनिया भर के सभी देशों के राष्ट्र प्रमुखों से मेरा आग्रह है कि वे सभी एक मंच पर आकर भावी पीढ़ी को सुंदर, स्वच्छ और भय रहित समाज उपलब्ध कराने में अपना महत्वपूर्ण एवं सशक्त योगदान अवश्य दें। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का यह वक्तव्य संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ के समिट ऑफ द फ्यूचर में एक अत्यंत ही मार्मिक और विश्व शांति की दृष्टि से मील का पत्थर साबित होने वाला वक्तव्य है। और आज जब यहां पर दुनिया भर के प्रतिनिधि उन भावनाओं के प्रति आग्रही बनकर के जब इस समिट का हिस्सा बन रहे हैं, उन स्थितियों में मुझे आप सबको भारत के संविधान की आर्टिकल 51 की उन भावनाओं की ओर भी ध्यान आकर्षित अवश्य करना है, जो भारत के संविधान निर्माताओं ने आज से 75 वर्ष पहले न केवल भारत के लिए बल्कि पूरी दुनिया के लिए भारत के संविधान के माध्यम से व्यक्त की थी, जिसमें वैश्विक सद्भाव और शांति के लिए, विश्व कल्याण में सकारात्मक योगदान देने की दृष्टि से भारत की वे भावनाएं निहित हैं। हम सब जानते हैं कि भारत आज से नहीं, हजारों वर्षों से भारत का भाव रहा है। वह भाव जो आज भी भारत के अंदर या विश्व मानवता के सामने जब भी संकट आया, तब भारत ने उन भावनाओं को विश्व मानवता के कल्याण के लिए उस रूप में व्यक्त किया। अयम निज परोमिति गणना लघुचेतसाम उदार चरितानाम तो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, यानी पूरी दुनिया एक परिवार है। इस भाव के साथ जोड़ने की भारत की इस भावना को आज भी भारत का संविधान उसी दिशा से आगे बढ़ाता है। और यह आपसी सहयोग, शांति और सामंजस्यपूर्ण सहअस्तित्व पर एक दूसरे का जीवन निर्भर करता है। इसकी पुरजोर वकालत भी भारत का संविधान करता है। यह विशेष रूप से विश्व शांति के प्रति भारत की प्रतिबद्धता का प्रतीक भी, जो सम्मानजनक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंधों को विकसित करने और संघर्षों को शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल करने के नैतिक मार्ग का अनुसरण करने के लिए भी हम सबको प्रेरित करता है। भारत की नीति संविधान के सिद्धांतों के अनुरूप सभी राष्ट्रों के बीच संवाद, सहयोग और पारस्परिक सम्मान पर बल देती है। भारत का महत्वपूर्ण वैश्विक प्रभाव अंतर्राष्ट्रीय निकायों और मंचों पर इसकी सक्रिय भागीदारी से स्पष्ट है। संयुक्त राष्ट्र जैसे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संस्थानों में भारत की सक्रियता वैश्विक शांति और एकता को बढ़ावा देने के लिए भारत की प्रतिबद्धता को ही दर्शाती है। आर्टिकल 51 की उन भावनाओं का सम्मान करते हुए दुनिया भर के शांति और सुरक्षा के प्रति आग्रही माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीशों और न्यायाधीशों का यह सम्मेलन अत्यंत ही प्रेरक और मार्गदर्शक हो सकता है। इस विश्वास के साथ मैं 25वें इस मुख्य न्यायाधीशों के सम्मेलन के उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम के अवसर पर लखनऊ में आयोजित आपके इस सम्मेलन के अवसर पर एक बार फिर से आप सभी दुनिया भर से पधारे सभी सम्मानित अतिथियों का उत्तर प्रदेश की राजधानी लखनऊ में हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं और विश्वास व्यक्त करता हूं कि हम सब भारत के संविधान के आर्टिकल 51 की भावनाओं के अनुरूप विश्व शांति और सुरक्षा के प्रति भारत के संविधान निर्माताओं की भावनाओं के अनुरूप विश्व के कल्याण का मार्ग प्रशस्त करने के इस अभियान का हम सब हिस्सा बनेंगे। इस पूरे आयोजन के प्रति मैं आप सबके प्रति हृदय से अपनी भावनाओं सम्मान व्यक्त करते हुए इस पूरे आयोजन के प्रति अपनी शुभकामना देता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
समय अधिक हो गया है, लेकिन फिर भी धन्यवाद के नाते मेरे को ये कहने का मौका मिल रहा है, जो जन्मजात नेता होते जन जन पर शासन करते हैं, जनता उनके शुभ चरणों में श्रद्धा के फूल चढ़ाती है, कांटों पर खुद चलती है और पलकों पर उन्हें बिठाती है। ऐसे हैं हमारे श्री माननीय योगी आदित्यनाथ जी, हम लोगों के हृदय सम्राट। It is my proud privilege to thank the most honorable Chief Minister of UP, respected Yogi Adityanath Ji, and Honorable Mr. Brajesh Pathak Ji, Deputy Chief Minister UP, for gracing us with your auspicious presence today. Your blessings add immense value to this gathering of distinguished legal minds assembled here at our invitation to deliberate on safeguarding the future of the world.